and welcome to Uncle Matt Online Academy. In this lesson, we want to learn arithmetics on square roots. Arithmetics on square roots. We've earlier talked about square roots, and we also talked about perfect squares. The arithmetics on square roots is telling us how we can do addition, or how we can do subtraction, or how we can do multiplication and division with or on square numbers that have square roots. That is how we can multiply, add, subtract, or divide two or more numbers that have square roots. That is what we are going to do in this lesson. Now we have rules that guide us in arithmetics on square roots. The first rule is the rule of addition. 1. In the rule of addition, it states that if you have two numbers in a root, like A plus B, that if we want to solve this, we just add the two numbers together. So it is going to be A plus B inside the square root, inside one of the square roots. So, for example, if we have square root of 2 plus 5, this is going to be square root of 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. So it is going to be square root of 7. Then that of subtraction, root 2. If we have A minus B, remember that this A can be number, it can be any number. A can be 1, can be 2, it can be 3, and B can also be any number. So if you have A minus B, it is equal to, we just add the two things, we subtract the two things inside the roots. So we have, it is the same thing as saying A minus B, that is, you subtract two of them. Example, if we have roots 28, root 24 minus 8, root 24 minus 8, this is going to give us roots. Then we subtract the two numbers. 28 minus 8 is equal to 16, which is equal to root 16. Now, another rule is, of course, root 16 is equal to 4. So we have that this is equal to 4 as the final answer if we find the root of 16. Now, for multiplication, the rule is this. If we have A times B, we can separate two of them. So this can be root A times root B. Now you see the difference between the multiplication and addition and subtraction. Here we can separate the two things inside it if they are separated with multiplication. So each of them can carry their own separate roots. But in subtraction here, you cannot separate two of them. They must be combined with one single root. And also in addition, it must be combined with one single root. But for multiplication, you can separate each of the terms. A can have its own roots and B will have its own roots. Now, example, if we have roots if we have roots 2 times 16, we can separate these two roots. We have root 2 times root 16. Now, root 16, we can find it is a perfect square. So we have root 16 is 4. So we have root 2 times 4, which is equal to the one that is whole number. You bring it to the back of the one that is not a whole number, that has square roots. So it becomes 4 root 2. This is the answer. So the major thing is that when it involves multiplication, you can separate the two things inside the roots so that each of them will have their own roots. And then if there is one that is perfect square, then you find the value for it and then you solve further if there is any need for you to solve further. Then for division, if we have A divided by B in a single root, we can separate them just like we did in multiplication. So we are going to have root A over root B. In multiplication, we can separate the two values that are in one single root so that each of them will have their own roots. So we have two roots. And in division, we can also do the same thing. If you have a single root joining two numbers that are separated with division, we can separate two of them and each of them will have their own roots. But in addition and subtraction, you cannot separate them. You will solve everything inside the roots. Example, root 25 over 3. If we have root 25 over 3, to solve this, we say that it is equal to, we separate two of them, so we have root over root 2. Root 25 over 2 is equal to root 25, then root 2. So we check the one we can solve. Root 25, we know it as 5. If you find root 25, 25 is a perfect square. So we have it as root 25 is 5, and the root 2 we cannot get it, so we have root 25 over root 2 as our answer. So this is the basics in arithmetics on square roots. If it is addition, you solve everything within one single square root. If it is subtraction, you solve everything within one single square root. If it is multiplication, you separate the square root into two square roots. Each of the value will have its own square root. And if it is division, you also do the same thing. Now let's look at our assignment. Evaluate the following. So you solve this. 1 root 101 minus 36 minus 1, root 23 plus 13, root 36 plus 16 minus 3, root 36 over 7, and root 25 times 16. So you solve this and submit. Thank you.